Hey, Nikki and Rob, this is Dusty here, Toyota Gladstone. I am sitting in your Sienna while you guys are going in the finance office and figured I'd do a video delivery because I have a feeling we're not going to have enough attention span. So, real quickly, just going to go over all the buttons and stuff. So, right here, this button right here turns off traction control. All-wheel drive system is constantly moving power around from any wheel that slips to the wheels that grip. You can turn that off and disable that system right there. I don't know any reason to do that personally, but there is always a button in every single car that has all-wheel drive to do that. Right here, this disables or turns on your parking sensor. So if you are backing up close to something and that beeping is getting on your nerves, you can press that right there, turns that beeping off. Down here, another button. This is for turning on and off the power sliding doors. Earlier when I was showing Rob the power slide, this button was off, so the doors weren't sliding by power. But yeah, so that's turned on and off right there. You can turn it off, so I don't know what circumstances you might want it off, but that is a possibility right there. While I'm talking about doors, I'm going to kind of skip around here. These are the buttons right here. You press and hold this button, and the door automatically opens. I'm going to press and hold that button again. Closes that door, so you can do it from right here. You can also close the trunk as well, so open and close the trunk right there. Super handy to have all those controls right here from the passengers or from the driver's seat, easily accessible, so you can do that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the cabin lights, maybe. All right, so you can see that switch has a door, a on and an off position. Now it's in the door position. If it'll focus, I don't know. Anyway, also right here is the SOS button I was talking about. You can press that and get connected with Toyota, and they can help you with a long range of things, from programming the clock, paying your Toyota bill, to sending emergency services to the GPS location of the car. So they can help you with a lot of different things. Hopefully you don't ever have to push it for an emergency, but it is there if you ever need it for something small. Hopefully you will utilize that feature as well. Start the car right here. In order to start the car, you're going to put your foot on the brake, and then that little green light comes on and you can start the car. I'm going to turn the car back off so I'm not gassing up this showroom floor. But when the car is on, all these dash lights come on, all this stuff comes on. You can see really easily all of these buttons that are on the control panel. Even the lights on the the buttons on the steering wheel have lights in them, so you can see them super easy, which is really, really nice. Right now I have it in accessory mode. I don't know if you noticed, but in order to get to accessory mode, I push that power button twice without putting my foot on the brake. So that'll put it into an accessory mode. You have this orange light telling you the car's not ready to drive. Obviously you'll know too the gas isn't, the engine's not on. And you have some different lights up here going on. But anyway, I was turning that on just so that I could demonstrate for you what all these buttons do. This little back button right here puts back. Anytime you see the back arrow up there, that button will get you back through there. But this directional pad goes through all the different menu buttons that are up here. You can see that there's a bunch of different menus across the top, and then some of them even have more information when you can go down and look at the different stuff that's within each of those menus. So tons of information that you can have. Most people are going to leave it right here where it's got that nice big digital display of your speed. And it keeps going back because the car's not on to this default screen. When the car's on normally, it'll stay whatever you left it on. So coming over here, we do have built-in navigation, but it also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. If you're more familiar with those programs, I do recommend them. In order to use that, you do tether into the USB port that's down here. Physically plug in. Screen mirrors your phone right there for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, whichever one you're using. But if you don't want to use those, you do have built-in nav. This is touchscreen. It won't work with Pinky, but you touch on this, it'll make the map the full screen. You do have the physical buttons, which I love that Toyota's keeping these buttons physical, so that you can get to any part of this navigation system, or infotainment is what they call it, really easily with the press of a physical button. You don't have to rely on turning the car on and having this display on to do that. Moving down here, you do have tri-zone temperature control. So the driver can have their temperature at one thing, passenger can have theirs at another thing, and then you can also have the entire rear at a separate temperature. If you press this sync button right here, it changes all of those settings to whatever the driver setting is. You roll these dials to change the temperature. Auto will adjust how much heat or how much cooling and how intense those are based on what temperature you have it set at, trying to control that temperature at. It'll automatically make those adjustments. AC obviously turns on and off the air conditioning system part of the car. This button right here is for recirculating the air. Instead of having a switch for recirculate and for drawing in air, it's just one button. It'll be whichever way. If you have it on, then it's recirculating. If you don't have it on, then it's drawing air in from the engine compartment. And then right here is how you turn the whole system off if you need to. Moving down here, this rear button, this gives control to the people in the back. There's actually a dial in the back on the driver's side, I believe, up on the roof, and they can control it on their own if they so desire, or if they're constantly fighting, you can take control away, press it right here, and you have control over the temperature in the rear. So, pretty cool stuff right there. Down here you've got the USB port I already talked about. You do have to physically plug into this USB port for Apple CarPlay. There's also, I don't know if you can see, it's really dark, but there's also another charging port right here that you can put in whatever type of charging adapter you've got. But that will not do the data. It has to be this one to do the data. And then also your controls right here for your heated seats. Moving back around here, I've got a couple more things I forgot to talk about. This right here is for your lane detection. So there is a camera up here in this black box that's behind the mirror. That camera, forward-facing camera, can detect the lines on the road. It assists in detecting people crossing the street, large animals, other vehicles, all those kinds of things, helping to keep you safe. All that ties into what's called the Toyota Safety Sense. So the lane detection, the automatic braking, smart cruise control, automatic high beams, all that is controlled with that camera, as well as a radar that's in the front Toyota badge on the front of the vehicle. So all those are controlled with those two systems, and helping keep you safe. So lane detection works only when you're going above 32 miles an hour. It's nice because you can turn it on and off. When you don't want it on, you can just turn it off. But when you do want it on, it's going to be really handy on long road trips or those long days at work when you're getting fatigued. It will detect the lines on the road. It actually will very subtly correct the steering if you start to drift out of your lane. And if you get too far out of the lane, it beeps at you to let you know, hey, you're drifting. This button right here is for the smart cruise control. Now, cruise control is turned on down here. You press the end of this button, turns it on. Bump this lever down to set it to the speed that you're at. And then you can bump it up and down to adjust that speed. Now, once you have it set to a speed, let's say you set it to 60, somebody in front of you is only going 50, you're coming up on them, you're starting to get close, the car's automatically going to detect that vehicle and automatically slow you down without you touching the brake or the gas or anything. Automatically slow you down to match their speed and keep you a safe distance behind them. This button right here changes that following distance. There's a long, a medium, and a short setting. You can press that right here to change that setting. I find the medium to be the right spot, the kind of Goldilocks zone. The short's a little too close. The long feels a little too far. So that's the right one for me. Test them all out and see which one works for you. Moving over here, hands-free controls for making all your phone calls, listening to your music. Now, you can use Bluetooth to listen to your music and the phone calls without being physically plugged in down here. But if you want to screen mirror your phone on this, then you do have to be plugged in down there. So this is just for your hands-free controls for when you're in Bluetooth mode. Actually, it also works when you're plugged in too, but play your music, answer your phone calls, all that stuff you can do wirelessly, and you can control that right here and not have to touch your phone. This button right here is the one that you would press to activate voice commands. So if you push it, you have to train it the first time you use it. It'll ask you to read some sentences and stuff so that it can understand your voice. But then after that, you press that button, you say call Bob, it'll dial Bob for you, and it makes it super easy. Volume control right there. These buttons are for changing the radio station or the skipping the song, depending on what listening mode you're in. And then this mode button right here does a couple different things. If you're on a call, you can see that it will silence. That's what that little speaker is. It'll put that call that you're on and mute so that you can, have a private conversation without the person on the phone hearing, and then you can push it again to turn them back on. Also, what it does is it changes when you're not on a call. It'll change from AM to FM to Bluetooth to all the different audio sources you have. You can do it right there. I think that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. There's so much in this vehicle. I could spend days just going over the stuff that's in here. But if you have questions about anything, please give me a call. Let me know. I'm glad to help. This is Dusty here at Toyota Gladstone. My cell phone number, 843-693-5644. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate the business. And if you have any questions at all, I mean it, call me. Thanks again, and have a great one.